Hello and welcome to another episode of Lights Camera Conversation. You're joined by me, your host, Lotty. We've also got Sam and David. The full crew are here this week, and we're chatting the A to the Z of all things film and TV. So there's a huge amount of terminology, I guess, isn't there, guys, in our industry? And we thought A to Z of things that kind of relate to our industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of technical terms that we can touch upon. I'll say some obvious ones. There might be one or two silly ones, but you know, that's what we do here, and I think they're relevant, so they're going in.
Okay, so what did everyone put down for A then? I thought this was a really obvious one, being a camera company.
I put, well, see, I know what you guys are going for, but I actually put Adobe.
Oh,
snap.
You see, you edited. See, I put Aperture.
Yes.
Yeah.
The old camera side of things.
I thought you would have put Aperture.
Adobe, for anyone who doesn't know, is all the software we use, like Adobe Premiere Pro, After Effects, Photoshop,
Media Encoder,
yeah.
After Effects,
Acrobat.
It's all there. Okay, B. You always need one of these bad boys.
A banana.
Yeah, you always need a banana on a shoe, for sure, but...
Backlight?
Oh, yeah, you do need a backlight. I put battery.
Oh, okay. I mean, that's, yeah.
Without a battery, we ain't going nowhere.
Yeah,
no, that's true.
Plenty of batteries, especially when you're on any shoe, really, don't you?
Always have extras. I can see, David, that's also on your list. Nice. Always thinking camera. So, Sam, what did you put for C?
You've just said it. Camera. Kind of an obvious one, but...
Camera, well, cards, memory cards to film on and record the data.
Yeah, I put camera as well. It's all got to be things camera related.
Yeah. So how about D?
Director of photography.
I got that. Well, director, but yeah.
I put DSLR, which feels a bit boring in comparison to director, but DSLR
it's different.
Yeah, and that's it. It's the type of cameras, isn't it, that we use, or at least it's one of the type of cameras that we use. There's all sorts out there, but DSLR also used for photography as well as video.
What about for E?
E, echo.
Oh yes, echo effects. That's one of the filters. Yeah, filters.
I put editing.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I don't know, that's the obvious one for me. But
that is obvious.
Exposure.
Yeah.
Camera one, yeah.
That's outside the box. Yeah. Well,
yeah, it's always a crucial thing, isn't it? That's the big thing that we've always got to get right. Have you set that exposure properly? So it makes the editing process easier. Look at that. 3 E's all in one go.
Okay. F.
Go on, David.
F. I've seen your list. It's a bit of a cheat, so I've got to try and quickly think of something else. I'm not sure. Come back to me. Let me quickly think of one. Sam?
I've got 2. I've got footage and format.
Oh, yeah. That's it. Footage and format, both key. What format is your footage in? And another thing to consider is frame rate, which is what I thought about. The frame rate, which is all to do with... David, can you explain that? You're the editor here.
Frame rate. Frames per second, yeah. So it's how many frames the camera is actually recording per second. So usually just general live action movement is 25 frames a second. If you're going to do slow motion half the speed, you would change it to 50 frames a second. So there's more frames, so more information, so it can show more, so it appears slower. So if the slower you want something, the more frames it needs. So if you wanted to film like a lightning strike, you need like 10,000 or 50,000 frames a second, so you'd actually see it.
That would be a cool camera to get, a super, super, super slow-mo camera.
Expensive, probably.
Yeah, very expensive. So, David.
F. I think on film, like film negative, film strip. which not many people use now, especially in kind of what we do. It's only mainly sort of feature films and independent films that can still have access, probably usually hiring a film camera, either a 35mm, 16, Super 16.
They still shoot a lot in film though now, don't they?
Yeah.
Still?
Tarantino does.
The last time I shot something on film with some other guys, it was from college. I think it was 2008. It's because we won a prize for some competition, and we had, I think it was about £1,000 worth of hire vouchers from Ari, as well as loads of film stock and free processing. So we went and shot some stuff on film for like a few weekends. But if we hadn't won that, we would never have done that. We would have just shot on digital. So it's kind of a dying thing, but it does have this quality and this texture and this look to it. It's still digital is hard to replicate.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a nice feel, isn't it? It makes it feel authentic, I guess. So G.
Well, I've got two.
Go on then.
I've got grade, as in color grading. Like you kind of go back to it earlier. If you're exposing something's underexposed or overexposed, you've still got to correct the colors a bit and the highs, the lows, mids.
Yeah.
And also sensitive lighting, gels.
Oh yeah.
To change the color of the light. If you want it to make it look more blue, stick on a blue gel or red and so on.
I love a few gels. See, that gels were also used where you would have different types of lighting sources. So you'd put your gels on. You needed to create more of a daylight look. You'd put more blues in there rather than your kind of oranges, depending if you had a tungsten light and needed to make it look a bit more daylight. So the trickery behind the background. What about you, Sam? What did you get for G?
Graphics.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
Big part of what we do, isn't it?
Yeah, animation and all that. Yeah, kind of encompasses everything. It's in video production, most of editing. There's always going to be a graphic. It's like a title card or something that counts as a graphic, doesn't it? So, yeah, kind of everywhere.
I put gear down because we carry a lot of gear. We're always lugging gear around, certainly on shoots. Collective term for all of our little bits and bobs.
Yeah, get the gear, move the gear, pick up the gear, get the gear out of the car. And so on.
It's all about the gear. H.
H264.
Ooh.
H264.
Oh, I got that one. I was thinking, I bet no one's going to get this one.
Yeah.
Oh.
The editors in you both. H264.
And now, or coming up soon, is H266.
Wow.
Which kind of explain to people it's a codec. What is a codec? It is it's a type of format that the video file is. So it's quite small files, H.264, 65 or 66, and many cameras shoot in that format.
And it allows you to have kind of that good high quality look and feel, but not tons and tons and tons of megs and gigs.
Yeah, and the new H.266, which isn't quite out yet, but it's been announced, will be for things like 4K and 8K resolution. It's going to half. The file size is going to be half, but still keep the quality. And one reason it's doing that is because a lot of people are streaming. They want to stream higher quality resolution films and TV series. And obviously there's more demand for it, so all the networks are struggling. So if you have a file system that files are half the size, what they are now, you can get a lot more to people quicker and everyone's happy and continue to pay their subscriptions every month.
Sounds techie, H.264. I put high vis because we love a little bit of high vis here. We've always got a bit of high vis on. We're out and about on the site, manufacturing, engineering. Whip that high vis bad boy on. Make sure you're safe. Be safe, be seen. So it's a big part of our kit really these days, isn't it, guys?
Yeah. Kind of one of the most important things, really.
Yeah. I
put import.
Oh yeah,
that's like a lot of editors are always importing footage.
That's the first thing you do, otherwise you can't actually do anything.
Exactly, yeah. What are you guys?
I got a similar thing. What's terminology is indexing, which is kind of like when you've got all the footage. A lot of times I'll index it. We'll kind of go through every shot and rename it, so you kind of can find it straight away, rather than having a huge folder of files that are named random numbers and letters.
Nice. I actually don't have one for I. All I can think of is Igloo in Indiana Jones, and I feel like I'm put on the spot right now. Indiana Jones is a film. Tenuous link. I haven't got that post-production brain that you guys do, so I know I'm kind of looking around our studio right now thinking, what begins with an I that I can put in here, but I can't really think of anything. That was the best I could come up with. Let down.
So on to J. Sam, got anything with J?
JPEG, which is of course type of file format for like images and so on that you use in graphics, editing, and all that. An obvious one. Kind of not even just filmmaking; it's in a lot of different areas. But you see a lot of JPEGs in editing.
Yeah, it's a good one. I couldn't think of one on my list, but right in front of me now is a Jaws and Jurassic Park poster. So
that's such a cheat.
I'll nick those.
That's such a cheat.
Well, Lottie, I'm sorry I stole those from you.
Well, I put jacket because I just got thinking more about when we do shoots outside. Seemed an obvious one, but I think sometimes on shoots you don't always think about what you do have to think about is where are you going to be filming, like what conditions. A lot of the time we do film indoors, but there are shoots that you do outdoors and shoots that you do in winter, and having a good jacket, but also the whole works, hat, gloves, make sure you're warm, because there's a lot of standing about in what we do, isn't there? Like particularly if you're planning a shot or things like that. So always need a good jacket, one that's waterproof as well, and will keep you warm in those long shoot days.
Indeed.
Oh, sorry. Yes, no, it's still me. K. I'll let you guys go first.
I got a really technical one. Technical. I was thinking like you guys, editor. I put down Kelvin. Now, Kelvin is the temperature of the light, which is, if you're into lighting, you're going to be thinking about Kelvin and what Kelvin it is. So if it's daylight, I don't know, what's that? 5,200, something like that off the top of my head. That sounds very technical. I don't even know how I possibly know that, but Kelvin, is all to do with how the light temperature is measured. Is it a cooler looking light or is it a warmer looking light? So daylight is much more on the cooler spectrum, and tungsten, so with indoor lighting, is on the warmer side. Kelvin.
Sam?
I kind of cheated with this one and I put Kubrick, Stanley Kubrick, because I guess he's like the most famous.
So that's all right.
And you
most famous director, I guess. Yeah. He inspires a lot of people. He inspires a lot of filmmakers. So I felt I could have got away with that one.
Yeah, you got away with it. He's quality, isn't he?
Yeah.
And me to round off the K, kettle. The kettle is often on numerous times a day to make some sort of hot beverage.
Are you making those hot beverages though, David?
Yes, I made.
He never does.
Everyone's got one of those people in the office that doesn't make the teas.
Well, just now I still had the kettle on, but I hadn't actually done it.
We're only teasing you. We're only teasing you. Okay, next one. Sam, hit us off.
Lighting for L, which is kind of an obvious one again, but does begin with L, so
I put light. I got that. Did you put the same?
No, I've got LED, which sort of lights these.
It's a light.
Dots.
That is a light.
LED, LCD screen.
Yeah. LEDs are absolutely brilliant. I love LED lighting. It's brilliant. Turn it up, turn it down.
Can you explain what LED lighting is to anyone who doesn't know?
I can't explain that.
The light is made up of lots of little lights.
Yeah,
that make up one big light.
Yeah.
So it's like a panel, like a square or rectangle.
It reminds me of those little honeycomb beehive things.
Yep. We use them a lot, don't we? LEDs. We like pretty much most of the lighting in our studio is LED.
Yep.
And now a lot of office lighting is LED, which is news to our ears. So back in the day when you'd be white balancing, which is just trying to make everything look white, you'd always have to balance, you're always trying to get the true whites, and they'd always have this horrible fluorescent lighting that's got this pinky tint. Whereas now, most of it's daylight balance, which makes our job a lot easier.
I've just thought of another L. It's a very geeky editing one. L on a keyboard actually plays things at a faster speed when you're watching something back.
Ooh, I could have done with that tip. I could have done with that tip a few weeks ago, David.
Yeah, L's faster, and then J is like but playing it backwards.
So you can make everyone speak in.
That's it. Quicker and backwards.
Yeah. What M?
Monitor.
Oh yeah.
Monitor. That's all we do. Monitor everything. Sound monitoring, visual monitoring. You need a great monitor so you can just see what's going on. And it's ideal as well if clients are sort of watching, looking over the shoulder. They want to sort of see what shots you've got set up and get them to check and sign off they're happy as you go. Monitor is definitely a key piece of kit, I would say, for us.
Got you try it first. I've got an obscure one if you've
I said motion graphics.
Oh.
Which is basically graphics that I said earlier, but with motion on the front.
Moving
graphics.
Yeah.
I've got, my obvious one was microphone.
Oh, yeah.
What we're using now. And my obscure one's matte box, which is more for something that you see on a film camera, which goes on the front of the lens where you can put in different filters or a hood to block out light. If light's coming too much from like the sun, it's like a little visor going on, and the matte box is something you can slide various filters into.
I always think they make cameras look a lot bigger and more impressive. They've got a little matte box on there. Suddenly you've taken a little camera and made it look like a big studio camera. So N. I haven't got an N, so I'm going to have to think of one on the spot. So you guys go first.
I've kind of got one, but I don't know about it. I put narration.
Yeah.
That's a great one.
Yeah.
A lot of the videos we need got the voiceover that carries the narration, or when you're editing an interview, you've still got to create a narrative narration. I've got ND filter.
Oh, yeah.
And you go actually digital cameras. A lot of them have it built in. Yeah, it's just a button you can click, and it just kind of adds like basically sunglasses to the lens and various different types. So if it's really bright out, usually if you're outside on a sunny day, it gets too much for your lens to handle. So you just whack on a ND filter of some sort. Neutral density, which is actually what the ND stands for.
Neutral. I can't think of an N.
So another film.
Say another film.
Or a TV series you were talking about yesterday, Netflix.
Netflix.
Love it. Netflix. There's Netflix. Narcos was what I was talking about, which is a great program about the Pablo Escobar. It was brilliant, kind of. Well, not a documentary. It's obviously a drama, but they play a lot of real footage, which is quite harrowing actually in that series. But it's well worth watching if you're into your crime and sort of drug stuff. You'll like it.
Cool. What about I struggled with this one, and it's kind of a cheat, but it does kind of go towards it. So when you're marketing your video, your film, you have to optimize it.
Indeed, you do.
Via SEO, social media, all that. Basically marketing, yeah. So
big part of your role, isn't it? All the YouTube SEO. Where would we be without that?
Indeed. So optimization. What about you guys?
Well, I put on off, which is this off, which is it was the first thing that came to my mind. I was like on, off, on, off. That's that works.
Yeah.
At its basic level, it works.
Yeah, well, mine's similar, which is open. Open a project, open a file.
Yeah.
Open a box. That's really desperate.
Yeah, I feel like we're scraping the barrel a little bit. We could do Oscar. So we did a skit. We did our skit, didn't we? Our parody of the Oscar.
Yeah.
And obviously Oscars does link to film and TV industry.
Yeah.
So
P, yeah.
P.
P.
I mean, I feel like there's loads for this because I've got a couple.
Go on then.
But I'll say these ones because they're all kind of together. Pre-production, production, post-production.
Yep, all the three P's, the key processes. So pre-production's all about the planning, as they say. Piss poor planning leads to poor performance. I think that was like 5 P's.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of one of those, isn't it? But yeah, pre-production is probably, I would say, maybe post-production's the biggest part, but I would say pre-production more so than the production, because production should be simple, i.e. the shoot or the animation. By the time you get there, all your planning work's done, or your script or your storyboard's done. It's just about shooting it and then get it straight into post-production, which is obviously all the editing, grading and finishing touches. What about you, David?
Again, 3 letters. PPE.
Ooh, bit of PPE.
What does PPE stand for, everyone?
Personal protective
equipment.
Yes. Which we wear on basically pretty much.
I feel that is a cheat though, David, because we have had high-vis, which is PPE.
But it begins with a different letter, so.
It does, but it's somewhat the same thing.
I've done 2 of the same thing though, kind of. So
that's true. Okay, I'll let you off. I just put people because without people, really, where would we be?
Wow, that's best of the day.
That's the best one of today. People. Yeah, it's basic, but I was thinking people are such a massive part of our shoots, whether that's the crew, whether that's someone we're interviewing, whether that's someone that is doing a narration, a narrative, whether you're just watching, observing people working. Obviously, we do a lot of processes and products, but people are really the thing that I think brings it to life.
Indeed, yeah.
It's all about the people. Okay, Q.
Quiet. 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 We're going for a take.
Shh. Quiet.
Oh, guys, be quiet
on the set.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always that, isn't there? Shut up. In a polite way to your clients and other people.
I didn't have one. I've kind of just come up with it in the last 30 seconds. But when you are After Effects and you are rendering your projects and you've got more than one, you put them in a queue.
That's right. You do.
Queue.
The old render queue. It's quite handy, that, isn't it, in the software? Because the queue, how it works, I guess, to explain is if you're still wanting to use the editing software, so say you're working on multiple videos, you can put it in the queue so it will render and get processed and still allow you to work in the software. So it's an ideal thing, really. It's helpful in terms of our workflow, isn't it? I put questions because questions, certainly in my role, I'm always sort of questioning people, and certainly in an interview sort of setup. So it's all about questions, Q&A.
Well, my one on Q's kind of segues into the next one, R, which is render. I've got render for that one.
Yeah, rendering is a key part. What's rendering, David? Explain it. You're the tech buff.
If you've got, like in the editing software, if you've got a sequence of all your shots, titles and whatever, you've got to get it off there. And instead of it being maybe 100 or 200 separate things on that timeline, you've got to get it straight to one file. So rendering is basically the software putting it all together to make video clip or motion graphics clip or whatever it is.
Definitely. Rendering in 3D takes forever. That's why you've got to have a lot of high-powered machines and multiple machines so they can do lots of different parts of the rendering. Yeah, I mean, our 3D animators aren't here to chat about rendering, but that is always their things. Oh, it's about the rendering. Got to set it on overnight and leave it just so the machines can deal with it and the pure volume that needs to get rendered. So
yeah, if you talk about rendering, the crazy way I think of it is things like nearly 20 years ago, I remember something similar like in Lord of the Rings that the rendering of Gollum, the CGI character, it was about 24 hours to render one frame.
Oh, that is mega.
So that's why they got multiple computers all rendering like a frame each.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So they're all. So a computer is rendering one frame, and so that's why I call it like a rendering farm.
Yeah,
because there's hundreds of them. So
yeah.
it's, let's say render, which we got a lot of information like that. Obviously, it's much quicker now, but it still takes a long time. It's like any Pixar or Disney, 100% 3D animations take 4 or 5 years to make.
What did you get for R?
I hadn't got anything yet. I'm trying to think.
I put replay, because replay, like action replay, or you're replaying. So you shot your clip, you just want to replay it, just check that technically it looks okay, and you've got the shot, and you've got enough cut time. Useful feature on our cameras, really.
I've got one now. Something within Premiere Pro, it's probably within other editing as well, is replace media, which is very useful if you've got like a temporary music track or an old logo and it's on multiple sequences, and the client gives you the new music or the new logo. You just go to replace media, and it just replaces it everywhere on all the sequences, so you don't have to manually go in and do them all individually.
Yeah, definitely.
Or S.
Yes.
SS.
Subway.
Subway.
You used to go to Subway a lot for lunch. Obviously, they're not much the last few months.
I know, you're getting them in every day.
I've been today.
You're getting them in all the time at the moment. It's like you've not been able to get to the old Subway, so straight in there.
Making up for it, yeah.
Get a foot long, get it going on. Yeah, we do love a little bit of the Subway, don't we? We've got one nearby, because there's nothing else here really by our offices, unless we wanted to go into town, but generally don't have enough time.
Well, I put saturation, which is a type of color grade.
Indeed.
Kind of bumping up the colors and all that makes things look a bit more brighter. We don't want to do it too much because it can look really sunny. That's the word I call it. I don't know, it's a lot of orange as well, a lot of oranges and reds, and it can.
And then what happens if you take out all the saturation, take it to 0?
It just goes very black and white, doesn't it? Yeah.
That's it. Love a bit
nice. Fake black and white. Yeah.
We've not really shot anything in black and white, I don't think. I think we put some footage in black and white for a safety video that we did as like part of a reconstruction. That was quite fun to do because you don't really get to play with that sort of stuff that much. But it'd be nice if we shot something in black and white just to make it a bit different. I don't know what though. It'd have to maybe be a bit more artistic.
I think you do have to kind of change your settings a bit. Because you're seeing it unless your monitor can give you like a black and white straight on what it's meant to look like. I think some films that are shot on black and white like film are kind of lit a bit different because you play more with silhouettes and less kind of color to make things stand out. I think I've read.
Well, I've thought of a couple now for S, having had nothing on my list. So script, storyboard, and songs. So it's all about how you and story. It's all about how it all comes together. So storytelling is a massive part of what we like to do, and certainly storytelling helps to engage videos. You need a script and a storyboard so you know what story you're telling, and you've got to have the music in there. So songs, or a track, soundtrack, let's say, is always something that needs to be considered because that's kind of one of the finishing touches and just helps lift the video at the end.
That's a good one. A couple of good ones.
T, literally T.
Yeah, T is a good one. I've got treatment, something you do when you kind of get the work beginning early stages of a project, like the brief. You create a treatment of what goes on where and what it's about.
I've got a tripod and teleprompter.
Oh yeah, teleprompter. I thought about that one. That's always a good one, handy one. And tripod. Where would you be without that for the locked off, steady shots? Yeah,
it's kind of the big one. You got the monopod as well. I've treated them, but there's the tripod's the more common one. Hold it more steady.
Nicely done. You.
Unicorn.
Umbrellas.
Interesting.
Umbrella to hold over cameras, which I did recently. Someone held an umbrella over me whilst I was filming in the rain. Well, over the camera, and I happened to be operating it.
Yeah, they do come in handy, actually. If you just got that little bit of bad weather coming in, you just got to quickly get a shot outside. I've had a few instances, I think, with umbrellas over the years.
I put upload.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. Upload to the cloud or not the cloud?
Cloud, YouTube, all your socials, all that. Yeah.
Some three really good answers there, everybody. How about V? I've got a good one. I'll let you guys go first. Lottie?
Oh, putting me on the spot. What's on my list? Nothing.
Or Sam?
Visual.
Oh,
I have to say visual or vision. Yeah, I guess it's just a bit of a cheat, isn't it? But visuals is the area of work that we work in. If we didn't, we'd be radio.
Well, I kind of put a different synonym of this earlier, but voiceover.
It's a good one.
Yeah, mostly kind of 3D, 2D stuff that we do has voiceover, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gotta have that really to tell the story. Well, you can use text, but I think it's nice having a voiceover on there.
Yeah, you get a lot more information over quickly through.
Yeah.
I have two V's. Slightly going back to ND, it's very ND, which is a lens cover or a filter you can stick on the end of the lens. Best way to describe it, it's kind of two filters in one. The one bit is locked to the lens and the other bit is kind of loose, so you can screw it and it changes. It's like having clear one and one that's like sunglasses, and the more you turn it, the darker it gets.
They're quite clever, aren't they? They are really.
You can hold it up to your eye and do it. You can just see it changing.
I know, it's amazing.
How is that shaking it up?
I know, because it doesn't even look like there's two pieces of glass where there must be inside.
Yeah, it's two then.
It's amazing.
So that's a really quick thing. It's quicker to do that manually when you're out like filming in the sun than going into the settings of the camera and trying to change the f-stop or exposure iris or anything like that. Just quickly manually. Oh, yeah, that's better.
And as they say, always get it right in camera, so you don't rely on post. Try and get it right first in camera and then boost it in post.
Yeah.
www, World Wide Web.
Yeah.
That wasn't on my list, but who's got what for W?
I've got white balance.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Another type of grading.
Yeah, got to get your white, otherwise it just looks nasty.
Again, that is a really big thing to get right in camera on a shoot.
Yeah.
Like if you're filming outside and you've got it on daylight, indoor white balance, it's going to look totally wrong. Or the same indoors.
Yeah, your whole screen's blue. Looks like you're underwater or you're in the sun.
And you can fix it to an extent, but it still looks really wrong and really weird. Trying to fix it in post.
I think we've probably all been there when you rookie camera ops, when you're sort of trying things. And certainly it's easier now, I think, with white balancing, because so many cameras have automatic white balancing, and the white balancing is really good on auto, whereas back in the day, all the technology, you'd have to sort of do it, hold a piece of paper up and set your white balance to that, zoom in and
auto one, it's still a bit risky though, isn't it? Like if you're especially filming indoors and the light keeps changing outside, like the white balance when it's sunny, it's still different to when it's cloudy, and if it's sunny, cloudy, that still kind of changes a bit, and you do notice. My W is widescreen.
Various widescreen.
Frame size. TVs used to be kind of square, 4:3. And most TVs now are 16:9 ratio. A lot of films, cinema are 2:3:5, which is really, really wide.
I thought you might go for a post-production thing, David. Like me, I put wipe, old school effect, which is a transition, which means you get from one shot to another. Just a good wipe across the screen suggests it is what it is. It just wipes across and then boom, you're into your next shot.
Yeah. Star Wars is probably the biggest mainstream film that has wipes as a traditional thing. All the Star Wars films from 1977
Old
to now
school.
have wipes.
Yeah, it's an old school transition.
But they
isn't
still
it?
keep it in, yeah. They still
It's part of Star Wars' identity.
Yeah, to have wipes from one location to another. No straight cut from planet to planet or whatever. You've got to go.
So you haven't got anything for X. Neither have I. David, have you got anything? XRay. I can only think of those things that you have up as a kid, in your room to help you learn the alphabet. And it was always like X-ray or indigo.
In Premiere, like Apple X. Is that copy? No, it's Apple C is copy and V is paste. I'm sure X does something.
Is there a file type called like XEP or something?
Yeah, there's X. It's like X.
XMPP.
Yeah, X. There's
XML. Yeah.
There's XML, yeah.
XML. That's it. Yeah. Which a lot of Canon cameras do. Yeah.
Scraping the barrel here, aren't we?
Oh, we got one in the end. That's good.
XML is a file type.
Teamwork on that one.
XML. Yeah. We covered X, then we can move on.
Yo. Why?
YouTube.
Yeah. Probably our biggest sort of social media platform, isn't it, that we use? Put all that on there. It's great for the old Google search. Love a bit of YouTube.
Trillions of views.
Yeah, that's it. trillions of views. Not.
I cannot think of one. It's only the real silly cheat one, which is yellow labeling in Premiere. There's like various colors you can label files on the sequence, and yellow is the one that stands out the most when you color code in clips.
That is scraping the barrel. Yellow. Tenuous link.
Thanks.
And
finite.
Z. Well, I put zebras.
Which are?
Zebras are not animals. You have them in your camera. So sadly, it's not a safari in the camera, although that would be fun. They're like lines, kind of almost warning lines, and they show you when the light is sort of peaking. But what that means is that the whites are overexposed, basically. So they go beyond.
It's too bright.
It's too bright. They go beyond the value that's in the camera. So you start to lose all your detail from your image. So zebras are a great thing that you can just put on the display and just check. You've got a little bit of zebra in there, but not too much, so you're not blowing your shot out of detail.
Sam?
Zip, as in a zip file, which you get a lot of on like WeTransfer when you're downloading files to and from clients, and we're downloading files from them. They normally come in zip files to compress them and keep the file size not too big.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I'm going to use another keyboard shortcut.
Oh no, go on.
Which is Command or Apple Z is to undo.
Oh, so it is such a handy tool though. When you're editing, you're like, damn it, I've done something wrong.
Yeah, you set it to like 50 undo so you can keep going.
Yeah, that's it. Go back.
It's also the same like on Photoshop, isn't it? Like, or even like Word and all those software. Control or like Command Z.
It's such a handy feature, isn't it?
Go back. Yeah.
You need that. You do need a bit of undo. So there you have it. That's the A to the Z of our film and TV. So technology, terminology that we hear all the time. Some good ones in there. Some maybe not so good ones. I think Indiana Jones was scraping the barrel and potentially Jaws from David. I'm sure we'll think of some better ones when we finish recording, but that is how it goes with a live podcast. But hope you've enjoyed it, and tune in to our next show next time on Lights, Camera, Conversation.
See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.